In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations using a quadratic formula. I'll see you right after the intro. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the equation that we are going to solve, and this is the standard quadratic formula. Alright, the first thing that we are going to do is to check the value of a, b, c. Now, the value of a is a coefficient of x squared, right? So, x squared, it's on this equation, has a coefficient of 1, meaning a equals to 1. A equals to 1. Then b is a coefficient of x. So a coefficient of x on the equation is 5, meaning that b equals to 5. The last one we have c. C is a constant on the equation. Now here, if you check, the only constant that we have is 6, meaning that our c will be equals to 6. Now that we managed to find the value of a, b, c, let's use the quadratic formula to solve the value of x. So the first value of x will be minus, that is minus. So whenever you see b, you put the value of 5. So it will be minus 5 plus. So you can start with plus or minus, it doesn't matter, to get the first value of x, right? So I'm going to start with plus, then I'll do minus afterwards to get the second value of x. Now, here is b, I'm going to put 5. And that's squared minus 4. And here it's a, I'm going to put 1. And there is c, I'm going to put the value of c, which is 6. Right. 2, and this is a, I'm going to put it there as 1. Now, the answer that you get here will be minus 2. Right. Now, if you change the sign to a negative, you're going to get minus 3. Right. So, let's prove if whatever that we did is correct. So, when you prove what do we have on the right hand side? We have x squared plus 5x plus 6. So when we substitute any value of x here, we need to get 0. Right, let's start with minus 2. When you put minus 2 in place of x, the answer that you get is 4 minus 10 minus plus 6. So it's equals to 0. So the same thing will be true when you substitute minus 3 here on the value in place of x, right? So you're going to get 0. So it means that our answer is correct. Let's move to the next one. Well, here is the second one. So we have x squared plus 2x equals to 0. So you have to write it in a standard quadratic form, right? So we have x squared. I'm going to write it here, x squared plus 2x. So we do not have a constant. When you do not have a constant, you just write plus 0. All right. Now, shall we, let's identify the value of a. So the value of a, it's a coefficient of x squared. So here, the value of a will be 1. And then what about the value of b? So the value of b is a coefficient of x. So the value of b, in this case, it will be positive 2, right? Now, the last one is a constant. So c will be 0, right? Now, you can use the quadratic formula to find the value of x, x1, the first x, and x2, right? x1 will be minus, wherever you see b, you put 2. So I'm going to put 2 here, then plus. So I'm going to choose 1 here. So then to get the second one, I'll choose minus, right? So here is b, I'm going to put 2. and A, I'm going to replace it with 1, and C, I'm going to replace it with a 0. So A, I'm going to replace it with 1. All right. Now, the answer that I get here is a 0. Okay. Now, when I change this positive sign to a negative sign, the answer that you get will be -2. All right. So 0 and -2 are the values of x. Now, to prove if these values are correct, we are going to say this is the left-hand side, okay? So we have x squared plus 2x. All right, so left-hand side must be equal to the right-hand side. So right-hand side, we have a 0. We have a 0. All right, so I'm going to replace the value of x. I can replace this value of x here. If I get 0, then it means my answer is correct. So when you replace 0 here and 0, so the answer that you're gonna get is 0, which is the same as the one that is on the right hand side. Great. Now let's replace -2. So if we replace -2, we'll have this, something like this. So this one will be a 4, then this one will be -4. So the answer will be 0, which is the same as the one on the right hand side. Good. So it means that whatever that we did is correct. Let's move to the last one. Okay, here is the last one. So we have x squared minus 121 equals to 0. Right, now let's write it in a standard form. So standard quadratic form is like this. So we have x squared. So here we do not have a variable x. So if we do not have a variable x, you can say 0 multiplied by x, because 0 multiplied by x, we won't have x there, right? So minus 121 equals to 0, right? Now let's figure out what is the value of a, b, and c. So the value of a in this case will be 1, okay? So it will be 1, and the value of b, is a coefficient of x, so in this case it will be a 0. And then the last one, we have c. So c, it will be a negative 121, right? So it will be a negative 121. All right, great. Let's use the quadratic formula to solve for the first x. So x1 will be minus, so whenever you see b, you put 0. So I'm gonna say 0 plus 0 squared, a is 1, and then c is minus 121 divided by 2, a it's 1. So the answer that I'm gonna get here is positive 11, right? So for x2, you just change positive sign to a negative sign, you see, to a negative sign, then you'll get the second value of x. So this means that x here, it's 11 or minus 11, right? So that's proof. So here's the proof. Left hand side, what do we have on the left hand side? We have x squared minus 121. All right, so we're going to replace that with any of the values of x. So let's put 1, 1, 2 minus 121. So the answer will be 121 minus 121, which is 0. So that 0 is the same as the one that is on the right hand side. So this means that we have done the correct thing. Thank you for watching until this far. From me, until next time. Cheers.